Blog Talk Radio.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
Welcome to Moorish Talk Live 100 with your host, Tarhaka Black.
Welcome, Moorish Talk Live 100. I'm your host, Tarhaka Black, and this evening, our special guest will be the Grand Chairman of the Moorish American Government, Akhnaton Pert Heru Tutankhamun Bey will be with us this evening, and we will be discussing where's America headed? What about the Moors? Why has America added more disposable coffins to its inventory? What's that all about? What's going on? Nevertheless, we have a tremendous amount of information to bring to you this evening, and we certainly appreciate you all being here. Later on in the broadcast, we will be opening up the phone lines. The number to dial into this show is 310-982-4184. That's 310-982-4184. Press 1 on your phone. That'll give me an indication that you got something to say, and we'll be opening up the phone lines. That's later on in the broadcast now. But right now, we're going to go to our commercials, and when we come back, we're ready to open up the show. Okay, so y'all hold on a minute.
Still, one of the biggest problems facing people in this country today is debt. The election of a new president doesn't mean your debt will go away. For student loan, child support, mortgage, foreclosure, credit card debt, etc., contact me, Tarhaka Black, 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or visit newdebtelimination.com. You need to get out of debt now. Send for my free report by clicking on the Contact Us page at newdebtelimination.com. Fill it out, and I'll send my free report straight to your email address. Okay? That's www.newdebtelimination.com. Contact me.
What does Tarhaka Secure Party and Creditor package entails? Private consultation by phone and email, the correct system for paying your property taxes in the private, the documents you will need to conduct business and transactions, public and private, Tarhaka Library, documents for status change in commerce, master study manuals, and trust guides. Free credit repair with all 3 credit bureaus. A business for you in itself. Educational materials on DVD and CD sent directly to your postal box. 1099's education and how to file. How to become a private banker the right way. Asset building, protection, and investing. We also, for all of our clients host our private conference calls. To access this kind of education and power, go to www.newdataelimination.com or call me directly, 904-303-9061. Also keep in mind, we have the top, best financial advisors there is. Peace.
I have a question. What is your status in commerce? What is your diplomatic status? How do you use the common law? What is your legal and political status? What makes you a secured party? And once you are secure, what are you going to do with it? To get it all done right, go to www.newdataelimination.com. That's www.newdataelimination.com. Call me directly, Tarhaka, 904-303-9061, before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 904-303-9061, before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let us show you how to be free.
We back. Now, before I bring my guest in, I would like to state for the record his position, and this is coming from the Book of Ali. As soon as you open the cover, right here it says The Last Prophet. Dear readers, welcome to the little book as written by Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet, whom was also given the high holy name and station of El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. The enclosed writings will feature a compilation of Ali's 4 chapters with adept commentaries personally written from his heart and memory. These 4 chapters complete the prophesied 70 chapters of infamous Book of the Seven Seals, a.k.a. Circle 7 Quran. 66 of the 70 were previously written about 2,000 years ago to be revealed only by he, the 7th angel, Book of Revelation, the 10th chapter, albeit the revealing of this pamphlet has been necessitated by nearly a century of misunderstandings, disbeliefs, and cover-ups about the authenticity of Drew Ali's timely ordination into the long line of violet-skinned prophets. It has been nothing short of a miracle exactly how the last prophet prepared the table of mental freedom from which his nation must eat. While still in the very presence of the enemy, he later described this phenomenon as I had to go around my elbow to get to my thumb. Also, there's an opening commentary commonly referred to by many Moorish scholars as page 3. You are about to read the sacred writings of the 7th angel recorded for the nations of the earth. The enclosed 4 chapters contain the only manumission of the fallen sons and daughters of Moorish America. The Book of Ali also holds the breath of life needed by millions of other souls in the finale of emancipation from the ex post facto jurisdiction of Western yoke and laws. I'll stop right there. But that is his position in the writings. I see we have a caller with his hand raised. So we'll hit this line here. Area code 240. Are you with us? 240. This time, could you hear me? Yeah, I hear you. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get the grand chairman in here. Okay. All right. While we're waiting on our guest to arrive, he'll have to push 1 on his phone. That'll give me an indication that he's here with us, and we'll open up the phone lines. Area code 434. Are you with us?
Peace and blessings, Madam O.
Peace and blessings, Grand Chairman. Welcome, welcome, welcome. we missed the move. We got it.
All is well.
Welcome aboard, and we're certainly glad to have you here with us this evening. And I want to get your take on a lot of this stuff here. But before we do, can you give us some salutation and some opening prayer, whatever it is that you want to give us, so that we can be in line with moving forward?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. It's the custom of our ancient forefathers. We always begin and end all things with prayer. Peace and blessings. Allah, the great God, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. That's it. We on.
No. Okay. All right. Well, exactly where are we right now today? It's 2017. They calling it the month of April. It's been a while since you've been on the broadcast. But where are we today as Moors in America?
Well, to put it in blunt situation, we're in some deep stuff, okay? It's not good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And, in fact, I was extend an honor to you for bringing up the subject matter when I looked at the list of subject matter that you wanted to speak about tonight, dealing with the disposable coffins.
Mm-hmm.
And where's America headed? And most importantly, what about the Moors? So when it comes down to the disposable coffins, there's a reason why the United States have these disposable coffins and chattel cars on the railroad tracks, concentration camps all over the place. I mean, almost 900 of them now. And that's the concentration camps. Disposable coffins on several farms and plantations and other areas. They're by the millions. In fact, they've got pretty close to about 75 million right now, and there's only 60 million of us. So there's more than enough coffins when you take into consideration that each coffin can hold up to, sometimes 3 or 4 full-size adult bodies. So it's not a pretty picture. So when you want to look at what kind of condition our people's condition is in, I would just have to describe it. I'm going to use your word because you've got disposable coffins here. And a coffin is basically, it only serves one purpose, and that's to conceal the dead. That's what coffins are. I don't care how you describe the coffin, how big it is, small it is, what it's made of. A coffin is when you look at the definition for a coffin, the ultimate definition that you have is that it conceals the dead. So in so doing, the United States has have put aside these what is called disposable coffins by the millions that can hold up human bodies. Now they're not for animals like deers or bears or something that you might hunt or something like that. They're not for some of the people that the United States may not get along with, like Donald Trump. You don't get along with Mexicans, but they're not for Mexicans. So what you have to do is figure out, since coffins, the sole purpose of a coffin is to conceal the dead, then you have to figure out, well, for what purpose do you have to have millions of coffins that can hold human bodies? Mm-hmm. Well, first thing you got to do is look and see, answer the last question when you say, what about the Moors? Well, let's find out who the Moors are not first. And when the first thing you look, you find out that our people, they're dead. They're dead. They're recognized. And let's look at the definition for dead. because this means to be absent of life. You don't have any life. So when it comes to that, now look at this picture, Imana, because when you're talking about 60 million dead people. Now I know that everybody thinks we count because our people participate in the Olympics and they pledge allegiance to the United States flag and some of everything else, as other citizens do. But Noble Ali clearly stated that's because you was born here don't make you no citizen. And what he meant by that is the fact that you cannot make a citizen out of property. And extending much honor for the great work you do when you offer these different ways to try to save money and how to get the little house and things together and properties together. The thing about it is that until you know how to live, then you really don't exist. And when you don't exist, that means you're absent of life. You're dead. So when you look at how would you kill these many millions of people? Well, you got to look at it this way. Our people have been entombed by a professional henchman, professional killers, professional murderers. You can call them whatever you want to. A lot of people don't like when I speak about Western Freemasons, but this is exactly who it is that did the killing. Is Western Freemasons. If you don't believe me, go back to the very first person that enslaved us as a people when he became the very first president of the new United States, and that was George Washington. Him and his wife Martha owned 400 of us. That's when they was, as Donald Trump put it, that was when America was great then. America was great. Mm-hmm. That's why he wants to make America great again. So when you look at how would you continue since slavery ended, 1865, Drew Ali spoke about that. It lasts from 1779 to 1865. That's in our Constitution. They describe it as during the time of slavery. But our people are still enslaved. So how in the world can our people still be dead? Because slaves are dead when it comes down to society, come down to being they're not a nation. Slaves don't have anything, no rights, nothing. So how can our people, all 60 million of our people, be considered dead at this time? Well, most of that comes through, as you know, the birth certificate. Who is it that's in power? Has the political power and the governmental power to place on your birth certificate, and the master word here is denationalization. I think we spoke about it last time I was on your show. Denationalization. This is a international crime to denationalize any member of the human family. To denationalize means to take away their descendant lineage, to take away their national identification as far as being recognized with a nation of the earth, a nation of the human family. When you denationalize people, you're taking them away from the recognition of they're not recognized as a human family. So what they did, they certified you as dead on your birth certificate. If you've got Negro, black, colored, Afro, or any other denationalized name on your birth certificate, by it being in name, word, or code, because they've sort of wised up over the last 10 or 15 years or so, 20, maybe 20, and a lot of states, they stopped putting Negro on there or black on there, and they start putting it in code. But what happened is, shortly after you were born free, and you got to take into consideration that when you have life, shortly after your mother had you, okay, then your mother could only give you the physical part, but it's not in the power of flesh to think or bones to reason. So therefore, something else had to be added to you to give you life. This is what is called birth. So when you was given a soul, and this is your capacity to think, understand, have reasoning and willingness, and this is the actions of the soul. And then you also had the most abundance of all life. You had the Spirit of God. You became a God. You was born that way. The Spirit of God was in you. And this, when you put these two, they call it breathing in the nostrils, then you became a living thing, as they say. Okay, well, these are the two holes, the two nostrils, the soul and the spirit. When that is added to the flesh, then you were born. That's called a birth. Well, shortly after you were born, the Western Freemasons, those who actually were running and owning the United States, corporate United States to this very day, they're the ones that have the political and judicial power to denationalize you shortly after you're born, in a matter of hours, days, no more than weeks. On you, they will certify you as dead. Now, that may not sound like much, but you've got to take into account that means that you are property. You're not attached to the human family. You do not belong to a nation of people. Why? Because the name that was given to slaves, and this is something very key that I think, because I have classes a lot, and most of people don't realize how important it is to get away from slave names. This name that was given to slaves is Negro, black, colored, Afro-American, all these things that do not identify you with a nation, okay? And no descendant lineage, nothing. And the John Smith, or let's just say Elihu Pleasant Bay, or Tutankhamun Bay, or Tarhaka Black Awareness, these are not slave names, okay? The slave name is what they have on your birth certificate. Negro, black, colored, Afro, whatever the case may be. That's the slave name. That's the name that was given to slaves. Because that way they're able to recognize you as their property. Now, the hard part about that is, once they have labeled you as property, now remember now, you're only a few weeks old. But now you get a little bigger, get a little taller, whatever, and they're going to add you a Social Security number. Then, as you get a little older, next thing you know, you've got a driver's license. You've got other forms of identification, but each and every one of these things connects you to your birth certificate as, let's just say, NBC, Negro, Black, and Colored. Okay? So once this is done, that means that you have been made ordained, or let me get that word out of there, certified to be property, to be a slave from the womb to the tomb for the rest of your life. And that's why they have disposable coffins. I'm just giving you the record now, the little history of how it came to be, okay? Now, when you, because you got to remember, black people are a dead people. They had a thing a few years ago called Black Lives Matter. A bigger lie ain't never been told. Black lives do not matter. I put a little thing out, I'll send it to the email if anybody want it. I still got a copy of it, proving that black lives do not matter. That's why they call you black, so your lives don't matter. Mm-hmm. And you can see that every day, all on the news, different states, different cities, something has happened to our people, and people going like, you can almost tell just by the news activity whether it was us or them. Because it really don't matter. When it comes to the court situations, when it comes to legal situations, we really don't have a voice, and the reason why, because we're property. We're property. Now, getting back to your subject matter, when it comes down to the coffins, Now we're going to get into the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teaching just a little bit higher, because more in depth, because he prophesied all that's taking place now, including the presidency of Obama and Biden. Because this is back in 25, 26, something like that. He prophesied that the time is going to come when you would have a Asiatic for president and a European for vice president. Now, this was unheard of in the United States. Oh, heck to the no. That ain't going to never happen. But the Prophet Noble Ali, being a prophet, he prophesied this almost 100 years before it happened. Okay? So that is to say that he also prophesied what is taking place with our people today. He said that we were the hard-headed, stubborn, stiff-necked people, and we won't do nothing except at the point of a sword. And what this means is that he tried to teach our people, because he created his own organization. He changed the name 6 times, but he never got rid of the name Temple, and that was the Moorish Temple, which is still just an organization. So don't get it twisted. Prophets, the duty of a prophet never changes. That is to save nations. Okay, usually whatever nation they are born from amongst, that's the one they save. And that was the sole purpose of Drew Ali, was to save his people. But his people they were thinking with the European thought pattern. They had the thought pattern of their slave master, the one that enslaved them, the one that denationalized them. And to this very day, they carry that same psychic, that same mentality. The prophet called it mental slavery. And as a result of that, they're dead. They're dead in the head. You can't get much deader than that. You're walking around, you look like it, you think you just live and kicking, because you're putting on clothes, you're driving cars, you may even own a house, but you just dead as a doornail. And just to prove it to you, when you use the word disposable coffins, let's look at the reality of this whole picture. These disposable coffins, they're by the millions. Okay, with the concentration camps, you can't leave them out. You can't even leave out the chattel cars, because there's not a concentration camp out there that don't have a railroad track running to it. Every last one of them. Okay, and the railroad cars they are disposable cars. I mean, they have nothing but shackles and chains in them for human cargo. In other words, they don't have no first class, no coach. No seats and the cushions and beds and none of that. Nothing but shackles and chains to transport human property, human cargo, to concentration camps. For what purpose? Well, concentration camps, it ain't no big secret what they do. Ask any people that know about Hitler. They'll tell you what the concentration camps are for. And the United States got almost 900 of them. That's a lot of concentration camps you ain't got for 50 states. Okay? So, as a result of this, when it's almost painful just to talk about it, I'm just telling you, look. But the thing about it is that when our people are entombed, or they come down to your house, to your neighborhood, to your community, remember now, slaves are property. Property are not persons. You do not count on the Richter scale of the human family. Where is your nation? Where is your government? Old Negro, old black people, where is your country? Where is your flag? Where is your Constitution? Where is your descendant line? Where is your history that attaches you to the human family of nature? For example, if you mention the name German, immediately you think about Germany. if you mention, just any nationality, you match it with the country. If you say Japanese, you think about Japan. Chinese, you think about China. What do you think about black people? There ain't no such thing as black land. Negro country. Okay? Afro continent. They say, well, I'm Afro-American. That's two continents that you're implying. Make up your mind. Okay? Africa got over 56 countries in it. Which one? Okay? A conglomerate of one. Make up your mind. If you want to talk about America, what you going to do with the so-called Indians and things? All right? So the truth of the matter is, there's no such thing as an Afro-American. Where do you think they got the O in there? There ain't no O in neither one of America or Africa, okay? So when you look at our people, as far as being these coffins is concerned, they are very disposable, and they do not count. Now, let me put it to you in the raw, okay? 60 million people. Let's just say that under the executive orders of the Commander-in-Chief, I got to learn how to put his T back in his name. His name is Trump, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I forget the T. Okay. So let's just say the Commander-in-Chief calls out and say, well, all right, there's some civil unrest going on here. In the community, they're raising sand, they're killing one another, Chicago, and everything in Chicago now. Okay, so now he calls out all the law enforcement agencies, okay? We're not just talking about the CIA and the FBI, we're talking all the way down to those that not even in uniform. Okay, and the majority of those is in some kind of reserve because they was formerly in the military somewhere, or they were somewhere, whatever. You'd be amazed at how much. I'll put it to you this way: the greatest military force that you have is those known as what Durali called the slaveholders. Those that had the same power that put on your birth certificate, Negro, black, and colored. And these are the real Western Freemasons. They're the ones that own the country. These are also the ones that handles and head the law enforcement agencies. Is the Donald Trump, or should I say, because he's head of the Illuminati, the Western Freemasons. Okay? Negroes, or should I say Afro-Americans, Africans, they cannot be Masons. I think we had that the last time I was on your show. It's impossible for an African to be a Mason. Impossible. You can find an idiot, but you can't find a Mason. Why? Because Masons, Western Freemasons, there are three criteria to make a Mason. One, you got to be a pale-skinned male. Two, age 21. Three, sound mind and body. So when you look at number one, pale-skinned male, I don't think we fit there. Okay? And these are the ones that enslaved us, called us Negro, black, and colored, made us property. Okay, so when you look at the disposable coffin, where does black people count on the scale of the human family of nations? When Donald Trump, as the commander-in-chief, okay, calls out, and believe me, it don't take but overnight. It don't even take that long. Everybody's ready. Concentration camps, the coffins, everything is at the ready. It ain't just got this way, okay? All it takes is a call from his commander-in-chief. Once the commander-in-chief makes a call, the president and the United States Constitution is no longer effective. They are suspended. Why? Because there's some civil unrest. In other words, the military now takes over under the commander-in-chief. The president ain't there. The United States Constitution is suspended because there's some civil unrest that may be threatening the infrastructure of the country, the United States. Okay? With that kind of threat, they've got to get rid of the enemy. Who is the enemy? Them black people. You got to get rid of them. Okay, so now let's take a worldly look at exactly who black people are. All right. Name me a country, a nation, a government, anywhere on the planet that will come and tell the United States to stop killing when the genocide really hit the high scale and they start going through the communities and neighborhoods and killing every black thing or locking whatever what they don't kill, they're gonna put on the railroad cars and send them to the concentration camp. Okay? This is actually our reality. Okay, now name me any country, any government, any nation on the planet that will come over here and tell the United States, and let's look at some close ones. Like there's Cuba. What about Canada? Mexico? These are very close. Okay? Would they stop the United States? Donald, there I go with that Trump again. Okay? Well, let me just call it Donald Rump. Okay? He's more ass than anything. Okay. Well, anyway, you don't want to be Donald Trump. You get to call this thing out. There's not another people on the planet that's going to mess with Donald Trump and tell him not to stop killing them black people. Why? Because black people do not exist. They belong to him. They belong to the West Freemasons. It's been that way since the United States has been great. Since before there was the United States, where there was nothing but the colony. When the Western Freemasons, the pale-skinned males, owned that and they owned us then. The West African slave trade. This is another thing. If you ever see a Mo running around with that Moroccan flag, slap the. Okay. Why? Because why would Morocco was the one catching and selling you into slavery. Why you want to raise that flag up? I know some, but see, if our people, by them being unconscious, did I say dead in the head, suffering mental slavery, they don't know any better. So you got Moorish Temple and other people that's waving the flag of Morocco along with the flag of the United States. Excuse me, but did Morocco catch and sell you into slavery, and didn't the United States buy you and enslave you? Why do you want to raise them flags up for? Name me some countries that's going to come and tell Morocco or the United States to stop killing black people. There's not one on the planet. So in other words, when you start coming up these disposable coffins, they're going to fill them up, 2 bodies in this one, 3 bodies in that one, okay? And they ain't got no time for no cemetery. Why? Because you got to put names on the tombstone. No, we ain't got no time for that. So they use disposable coffins. They ain't got to put no names on it. That's for bodies that don't have their lifeless bodies, okay? So when it comes down to why it is that where the America's headed, well, there's 2 ways to answer that. One, if they have to defend themselves, protect themselves, their own interests. So in that case, it's going to be headed towards the survival from the concentration camp. But on a divine level, Raleigh prophesied this too, where they're going to be headed. He also said that the United States is going to have to take to some water. Why? Because they do not own the Americas. They took it from the guns then, but according to the prophecies, they can't stay here. And as soon as the Moorish Americans wake up, then this will put into. That's the reason why we have on our national conference call. That's as a government, and I'm glad you call this class out too, man. I'm telling you, because you cannot be a people without having your own constitution. You cannot be a people without having your own government. You cannot be a people without having your own free national name as a nation of people. Noble Drew Ali brought us our free national name from the very grounds and places where every other prophet brought to their people, and that was Egypt. Call it Kemet, if you will, okay? And he brought us our free national name. Every people on the earth, they got one free national name, one. He brought us the name Moorish American. Moorish American. Moorish because you can trace your descendant lineage because the Moors are descendants of the ancient Moabites. We're the first people that inhabit the earth. You can't get no older than that. The first of the human family. We're older than Adam people, okay? We've been known as Ish and Isha at that time. But anyway, when it comes down to the American part, that's because we're indigenous to the continent. This is one of the things on your show, a lot of the Protestants say that you be trying to help people with, is because of their indigenous status. They got certain indigenous rights. But the problem is they don't know who they are. And it's sort of hard to defend somebody in another man's court, and they don't have a clue who they are, okay? That's why you'll never see a government in the courts of another government. Never. So once you become a people, you have your own. That's what we say. This is the Moorish American government. Why? Because every nation has its own government. It's got its own judicial laws or magistrate and subjects or whatever the case may be. You know, they got their own flag, everything. And this is what is after. This is what will not hit the disposal coffin. Now, I happen to know personally, not just under the Reagan or Nixon administration or the Obama administration, but as well as the present Donald Trump administration. They, too, know who the Moorish Americans are, and they ain't messing with the Moorish Americans. Moorish America are not subject to the disposable coffins. They're not subject to the concentration camps. Why? Because we are the owners of the Americas, the rightful owners. And it's just like, I don't know how many on this call that if you've ever had something stolen from you, and then all of a sudden or whatever happened, you happen to see somebody else with it. Okay? I had a bike stolen in East Baltimore, and I was in West Baltimore when I ran across somebody with my bike. And the minute I went and took my bike, I'd have had no problems out of him. Because I said, this is my bike. And he knew it wasn't his. I don't know if he was a thief or not. Okay? But what I'm saying that for is to say that when the rightful owner shows up, every thief knows to give it up. That's why Donald Trump, Obama administration, except all the they have known since what? I think the 1980s, the early part of the 1990s, definitely the 1990s, the late 1990s. I know that for sure because I was there. Okay, and but they know who the distinction between the Moorish Americans and black people, and the concentration camps, the disposable coffins, the challow cars on the railroad track. No, that's not for Moorish Americans. Okay? Now, the Moorish Americans got a very powerful job to do because they're the ones, under the one free national name, they got to save their people. And the only way you can save your people is you got to educate them. You got to teach them. That's why it's running out the Constitution. The very first job we got to do is teach. And that's what you be doing with your wonderful classes. We're proud of you, man, for the great work you're doing. But anyway, I'm going to step down right now. Whatever you got questions or you want me to speak about this, just let me know. I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Well, I got something I want to bring to the table involving contracts. A lot of us know about contracts, but I want to draw the listeners' attention to something called an unconscionable contract. That's something that a lot of us don't know about. We can't figure out how we became a part of it and what it means. if we go back and we look through history involving the United States, starting from its first inception when the Europeans came in here and they was fighting the War of 1812 and fighting the Civil War and so on and so forth. A lot of us didn't understand what this was all about. King George, he had gotten with the Rothschilds and stuff and borrowed money and to fuel these wars to make sure that he holds on to this land, financing people to come over here to take the land and all this stuff. And that's money that was borrowed with interest that had to be paid back. And because the American people mess around and allow the international bankers to get a toehold, a foothold, and then a stronghold on this land. And now the United States is in a deficit to the same international bankers that it was indebted to in the first place. And every so often that contract come up to be paid. And right now, the same people that's running this government, or what they're calling a government, is in bankruptcy. Now, if we understand what a Chapter 11 bankruptcy is, and if we understand foreclosure, and if we understand the word mortgage and what these things mean, it becomes clearer. I got this little book here, and I'm glad we're on this subject, and I want to read something out this thing here about this unconscionable contract and accommodation party. So let's look at how the states have become the accommodating party to the national debt. Many people who I have talked to, including the government, are very concerned about this and know that it could happen very soon. If America is declared a bankrupt nation, it will be a national emergency. FEMA will take over, and anyone who opposes the creditors' new government can be sent to a detention camp in Alaska. We will have no rights whatsoever. They have already set up prison camps with work camps nearby so that the people can be used for slave labor. It could be the government, the governors, legislators, and other leaders who will be hauled away to Alaska, while the people now disenfranchised from power would likely be chosen to run the new government. This could all happen very soon, as the national debt is so large as to be unpayable. Even the interest on the debt is virtually unpayable. As I explained, the national debt, more than $3 trillion, now $17 trillion, is now owned by the constitutional United States. It is owned by the federal United States that was given the authority to borrow bank credit. When Congress works for the continental United States, it could only borrow silver and gold. Therefore, the national debt was borrowed by the federal United States. The federal United States had to trap the states into assuming the debt obligation of the federal debt. In the Uniform Commercial Code, we find the term accommodation party. How did the states become the accommodation party to the federal debt? The federal government forced the states' debt in the Federal Reserve notes, which means that everything that the states do and have done is colorable under the colorable jurisdiction of the Uniform Commercial Code. All of the states are accommodating parties to the federal debt. The concern now is to find out how we can get out of this situation. I told the government that the common law and the law of merchants, international law of merchant, there's a term called no-interest contract. A no-interest contract is unenforceable and void. We'll stop right there. When we go back and look at what happened, we go back and look at Lincoln. They said, well, Lincoln, he want to do this, that, and the other to free slaves, but that's not true. Lincoln recognized the problem about the money and ownership and the debt and the international bankers, so he said, I'm going to create greenbacks. So we got that working and started doing that. That was a direct threat to the international bankers, so they assassinated him. Then we got Andrew Jackson to come along, and he is the one who stamped out the bank, but then they come back and put it back in. Then we come up a little further. John F. Kennedy spotted it. He said, I'm going to come out with silver certificates. So they shot him November the 22nd, 1963 in Dallas. And it goes on and on and on. Every war is financed from both sides by the international bankers. The World Trade Center bombing, the contract came up for payment. They was unable to pay, so it was time to fulfill the other part of the contracts. So they bombed the World Trade Center, brought it down. They got so many deaths and killings. But this thing goes on and on and on, and if you understand foreclosure, what they are attempting to do is foreclose on the United States. And the only reason why they have not foreclosed is because the people of the United States is heavily armed. And so what they got to do is figure out a way to disarm the general public and to either kill them, use the many police departments and National Guards and all this stuff to disarm the public. And even if they manage to get that done, the people that's doing the enforcing of the policies of the international bankers will have to understand that after they have disarmed the general public, they are next. So what they've been trying to do all along is foreclose on the debt. The land has been pledged. All of our resources have been pledged. All the gold, all the silver has been pledged. Through the birth certificate started in 1933, now the people have been pledged. There's nothing left to give to pay the debt, and so therefore the debt has to be foreclosed on. And the same people that funded Hitler and the British powers and Vietnam from both sides are the same people that are attempting to foreclose. So we understand this thing too. This thing is bigger than what we think it is. And I wanted to bring that little part into that so we can understand the reality of what we're discussing here today, because it's very, very important for us to understand it. If we go back and we look at April the 4th, 1933, when it called for all people to turn into gold and stuff, that was the beginning of removing the power from the people so that we can take it one way or the other. The Civil War, we couldn't get it then. The War of 1812, the Whiskey Rebellion, all of these things was a part of the same system of government attempting to get their property, and that is the United States of America and its resources and its people. Now, the owners of the land, the rightful owners of North, Central, and South America and all the adjoining islands are the people referred to as the Moors. So what I would like to do is stop right there. And Grand Chairman, could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay. So, now, what part do you want me to cover now as far as the Moors are concerned?
Let's cover the true ownership of the land, North, Central, and South America, the entire Atlantic Ocean, and all the adjoining islands. Oh,
yeah. Well, actually, in my book called, the Book of Ali that you referred to earlier, I've got in my center page, I've got a picture of when what they call the Pancras, when the whole world was just one big island, and we started from there, okay, and this is before what was really the great earthquake. Of course, the Christians, the Europeans, they later called it a flood, but there was never a flood. It was a great earthquake that divided this one island into 7 continents and also the 7 seas. But we have always owned that. Now, when it comes down to inhabitation, we was coming back and forth over here because we owned the doggone thing. I mean, we was here as a result of the earthquake when the continent, when the island first divided up. We was on that part as well as this part. So Africa, as well as what is now known as America, the part that what is now known as Asia or China, we was on all of it because we was all on the same island. So we were inhabitants, indigenous, however you want to put it. Okay, but to bring it up to date, up to more recent time, we were the ones that brought over the Europeans because they didn't know nothing about it. They were trying to find a shorter route to what they call India, going westward at that. And now how in the world you gonna go west and look for India, and that's east behind it, okay? So, but they didn't know how to guide the boat. They didn't know nothing, okay? We were the one that taught. They didn't know. We the one that showed them how to build a ship in the first place. But then, nevertheless, we were used to. It was called the continental drift. We could actually leave off the east coast of Africa and catch a certain current and come all the way over here to what is now known as the Americas and the Jordan Islands. Okay, we have always inhabited the Americas as it is known today. So this was not new. This, although they say, well, they brought the slaves. We was here long before there was the West African slave trade. In fact, we were the ones that brought what is now the ancient Canaanites. Brought them right through the Gibraltar Strait. You call them Indians today, but we the ones brought them here so they have a place to stay. But they came right out of East Africa, brought them right over through the Canaanite area. Okay, so when it come down to the Americas, that's why the prophet called us, gave us our free national name as the Moorish American, because we are the owners and the indigenous inhabitants and sovereign powers of the Americas. Now, I'm talking about all of it. Everything between the North Pole and South Pole, between the Atlantic and Pacific, that's the American, and that's ours. And you can throw Africa in there if you feel good. Now, that's ours, too.
You know, there's a man who wrote a book, and I got it here on this shelf in here. The title of the book is They Came Before Columbus.
Okay, I remember that one.
All right, now, when you read that book, there's a part in the book where, and I think it's toward the back of the book, where he's talking about plant life and stuff. And he was talking about down here in South Florida. And he said that the scientists had found plant life down here below Miami, down towards Florida City and going into the Keys. And the only place that this particular plant life is found on Earth is in Africa. All right? So, now, I got a sister that lives down there. And I've been down there. And if you ever want to see, without crossing the Atlantic, if you want to see plants and trees and plant life and stuff that's on the continent of Africa, all you got to do is go down there. You can start from Florida City and going on down up in the Keys. You'll see it. Now, these particular plants and trees and stuff that I'm talking about, you ain't gonna see this nowhere else in America. When I went down there, I seen this tree. And this tree, all the leaves on the tree was bright yellow. And I was looking at that tree, and I said, what kind of tree is that? My brother-in-law said, I don't know, but it's sure pretty, ain't it? I said, yeah, but what is it? But when you look at the plant life and stuff down there, you think in your mind, okay, have I ever seen this anywhere else before? No. You never seen it nowhere else, but you will see them if you cross the Atlantic and you go to Africa. It is one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen in my life. My brother-in-law's got a tree down there. It's called a lychee tree that bears a fruit called a lychee fruit. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Well, I prior to going down there, I ain't never heard of it, never tasted it. He got two type of mango trees. One tree is he said that's the regular mango tree, and the other tree is a honey mango. I said, well, what's the difference? He said, you eat one of them. You tell me what the difference is. I said, okay. So he took a box of them on the job, and the people on the job, the Cubans on the job started fighting. So they had a fist fight in the living room fighting over the honey mangoes. The manager come up in there to try to help start the fight and told him, said, you can't bring that kind of food in here. He said, you can't bring that in here. Them people know what that is. You can't bring it in here. They kill one another over one of them. It was amazing. But he got he grows all kind of stuff. He's got a tree. It looks like a hedge, but it sit outside his back door. And if you go sit on the back porch, you sit there, and you smell this heavenly fragrance. And you wonder what it is. And I asked him, what is that? Oh, I keep smelling. He said, that's that tree right there. He said, I can open up the windows to this house, and it'll fill the whole house with that fragrance. I mean, it is beautiful. It's a beautiful fragrance. And I tried to take some of it back here and grow it, but it won't grow here. But it's amazing. His name Ivan Van Sertima that wrote that book. But if you get that book and you read it, you'll see what he's talking about down in there about that plant life and the fact that the only other place that kind of stuff is found is on the continent of Africa. So that means that Africa and had to be attached to this land at one time. Had to be in order for that to occur. And I just want to bring that up to let you know that you're absolutely correct about it, because I'm looking at the diagram that you have in here in the Book of Ali with the maps and stuff, and showing it was all one landmass at one time. And East Africa is connected to Florida. So now we want to, Chairman, I'm going to take a little quick break, and when we come back, then we can continue.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I want to speak about that tree thing, okay?
All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
Y'all hold on, everybody.
You don't have to lose your home due to foreclosure. You don't have to worry about child support. You don't have to be in credit card debt. Have no fear. Tarhaka Armana El Bey is here at newdebtelimination.com. Got student loans, child support, mortgages? Contact someone who's got the experience and the knowledge to get you back under God's law. That's Tarhaka Armana El Bey. He's been there, he's done that, and he can prove it. Just give him a call at 904-303-9061. That number again is 904-303-9061. And log on to newdebtelimination.com. That's newdebtelimination.com, and get yourself free. And now, back to the show with Tarhaka and Moorish Talk Live 100.
Okay, we back. Grand Chairman, we're back. Now, what was it you was going to say?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, well, when you were speaking about the indigenous, well, Your subject matter was coffins, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're speaking about the disposable coffin. Well, there's another little thing when it comes down to those slaveholders, those Masons, and the coffin. They got a symbol, because you can't go into a Masonic lodge nowhere right now that you won't find a coffin in there.
Okay.
And the coffin in there is got the body of what is known as Hiram Abiff. In other words, the African God man. But over top of every coffin, if you look at the descriptions and the cartoons and the drawings and things, there's always an acacia tree over top of the coffin, and usually there's a 5-pointed star engraved on the top of the coffin. Now, you got to remember now, bear in mind, who is in the coffin? The West African God man. Okay, because you must remember when they had Egypt was the capital of the Dominion of Africa, and they conquered Egypt, 1776, something like that, before the United States even became a country. Okay? That's why they fight on the dollar bill. But the main thing I want to speak about is that acacia tree, because the acacia tree that they have over top of the coffin with the African God man in it, the acacia tree is indigenous to the continent of Africa.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it always is, okay? And that's why they use that particular tree, that symbol, over top of the coffin. Whenever you see the Masonic symbol of a tree over top of the coffin with the 5-pointed star, that's the acacia tree. Look it up, and you'll see that it's indigenous to the continent of Africa. That's the only place it grows. So that's what you remind me of. And Van Sertima speaks about that too.
About the acacia tree.
Very good, very good. Yeah, the acacia tree.
Okay. Well, you know, I got a lot of friends. Some of them later found out that they were Masons, and I don't say nothing, you know. But then I kept wondering why they get fidgety when I come around. And I said, oh, okay, so they think I'm going to mess with them. I'm not going to mess with them about it. And they not mess with me either. But anyway, this disposable coffin business, it is real. And what a lot of people don't understand, if you really just think about it, if we get into a national civil unrest, and they bring in American soldiers, and this type of stuff start happening in all the states across the country, well, we're going to have a problem, because these American soldiers have relatives and children and family members living in them states. That means we're going to have a whole lot of dissension going on and people jumping out of the military. So what they have done is they have anticipated this kind of thing, and they have gotten soldiers from other countries and brought them and are currently training them in underground facilities inside the United States. I just thought I'd let them know that I'm fully aware of that too. And that's not getting by us. They got you look at when they had the collapse of Russia. You know, you ask yourself a question. Okay, well, where all these highly skilled and highly trained soldiers went? Well, they came over here. They went underground, and they are being taken care of until the time comes for foreclosure. And you mentioned about Chicago and stuff. That's a war zone over there, and they're doing away with people. You got houses, whole blocks, whole communities vacant and dilapidated. The Detroit, Chicago, Michigan, all over up in there, where they're cleaning this thing up, and they have gotten to the point now that they are keeping the murders out of the media. There's a lot of stuff being broadcast in these cities and stuff that nobody else is getting. Now, there was a time when things would go on and it would be broadcast all over the United States, but since recently, with the fact that the police shootings and the people have been shooting back. Now there's been a blanket on information throughout the United States. They're killing people in one state. We're not going to broadcast that to the East Coast. If they're killing them on the East Coast, we're not going to broadcast that to the West Coast, because we do not need any collectivism going on. We don't need no international unity, because if we mess around and do that, then we have another Martin Luther King situation on our hands. We shall overcome in a united front, and that's dangerous when you get the general population with one mind going toward one goal and for one purpose. So we have to be aware of what's going on, and we have to make sure that we are prepared. That's why I've been trying to tell people you need to start severing your ties from these contracts. Go ahead and get you some food. Learn how to grow your own food. Get you some skills. Learn how to hunt, trap, fish, and learn how to shoot, so that if you have to go in the woods and survive, you have the skills to do so. And we have quite a few people that have begun to do these things for protection and survival of themselves and their family. Now, Chairman, what's your take on this kind of subject?
Well, the thing about it is, when it comes down to survival, that's one of life's obligations. And this is the reason why it makes a distinction with having a free national name, because you learn how to survive when you have a free national name. It becomes natural. Just like it takes a frog. A frog spends their whole life teaching the younger frogs how to be frogs. So that's what frogs do. It's natural for a frog to be a frog. Well, like so, it's natural for us to be attached to the human family of nations. It's natural to have a free national name. This is natural. You know, when you come, we say, who them? Who's your mama and them? You know. So even then, it was asking about your descendant line. But we didn't know that. We thought it just getting local, okay? So, but the truth of the matter is, when it comes down to the natural aspect, you can't find nothing more natural than being free. But you've got to be free. The only way you're going to be free is being you. Who are you? Because, you know, I know you and in your position, you entertain everybody. And so, you know, you got those who, ever since Drew Ali came on the scene teaching about a free national name, you got those who want to say they walk the tar, they do Warriors, they this, they that, they Moorish American members of the Moorish, the religious organization, they Christian, they this. That, not one of them is free. Drew Ali brought you one free national name, and nothing else is going to matter. So you can go ahead on and act like the frog if you want to, but you're not going to be a free man or woman. And I noticed that too in your on your website. You speak about Moorish American men and women, and the Moorish American men. Well, the truth of the matter is, you cannot be a man or a woman without being a citizen of a government. You cannot be a man or woman unless you are a byproduct of a nation of people. This is where you get it from. This is where your heritage comes from. This is where your descendant line comes from. You cannot, slaves don't have marriages. Slaves don't have husband and wives. You can't be a slave and be a wife, slave and be a husband. What? And you're not breeding either. Okay? Well, then again, yes, you are. That's all you are, breeding. All right? But you're not having children. You're having property. You may call it your sons and daughters, but they're actually property of the people that own you and them. So in order to be a man or a woman, you've got to have your own government. You got to have your own. Everybody, every nation on earth. That's why in our Quran, Drew Ali said, "Come and link yourselves with the nations of the human family."
Mm-hmm.
So you have been detached, denationalized away from there. So it's a great. I mean, I enjoy looking on your website thing, because being a Moorish American man or woman, that's what it takes. You've got to be a Moorish American to be a man or a woman. You cannot be a man or woman just because you join a fraternal order, a sorority, a social organization, a religious entity, or some land by escape thing that just popped up after 1929. You know, and you want to join in there. Oh, I'm this and I'm. You know, it's you here in the United States. You think the slave master care about what you call yourself? As long as you is under the Willie Lynch theory, as long as you belong to him, he don't care. You call yourself Good Spot, Fido, as long as you're on his in his yard eating his food, he owns you. Until you learn how to defend yourself, until you learn how to support yourself, until you learn how to feed yourself. And you're only going to do that when you have your own free national name, when you have your own everything that belongs to you. Where's your flag at? Where's your history at? So, and Tarhaka, I couldn't have said it better. You know, you can't even, you run down McDonald's and think you feeding you. That ain't feeding you. That's make McDonald's fat.
Well,
I came up on that.
I be working with them.
So
I try to get them to understand how to learn everything that they can possibly learn about their enemy, and learn how he does the things that he do and why he do the things that he do and what it means. So we teach them how to do that. And right there on my website, you got your web links. All they got to do is click on it. That go right straight to the Moorish American government, and where they can dial into the conference call and learn everything they can about themselves. And it's right there in several different places on the website. But what I want to do now, Grand Chairman, I want to open up the phone lines. And if there's anyone who has a question, all you got to do is press 1 on the phone, and we'll open up the phone line so you can state your question. I got one that's been holding since the inception. I'm opening that up at area code 240. Area code 240, you have a question for our guest?
No, I didn't have a question. I was just calling in. This is Brother Kalisha Tomale, and I really didn't have a question. I was just calling in because I wanted to hear what McKinnon had to say. That's all. And
Okay.
I've been, letting you know I've been here. Peace.
Okay. All right, brother. All right. If there's anybody who have a question or comment for our guest, now's the time to press 1 on your phone. I'll open up the phone line so that you can get in. The number to dial into the broadcast is 310-982-4184. That's 310-982-4184. Press 1 on your phone, and that'll let us know that you have something to say, and I can open up the phone lines. Now, Grand Chairman.
Yeah, man.
What do you think within the next couple of years under Donald Trump's administration is life going to be like? Now, when he says he's trying to make America great again, what does that mean?
Well, I'll put it to you this way, Mo, and I've checked the records and some of the plans and things that they have for the property, the $60 million.
Yeah.
And it's not a pretty picture. Noble Drew Ali spoke about it. He said that he can count on one hand how many of us going to be saved, and he has some fingers left over. Our people, you got to remember that these lessons and concept has been around for 100 years now since Noble Drew Ali first brought it to us, okay?
Uh-huh.
And our people just refuse. They're so in love with slavery, so in love with what it is that the, that the man has done to them, that it's just going to have to be taken out, because You can't save somebody. You can't free somebody that don't want to be free. You can't save somebody that don't want to be saved. Life has got nothing to do with it if you don't know how to live. Just like you were saying about survival, you know. Hey, what's the good is going to do? You don't even know how to feed yourself. You got to wait for McDonald's to open up, please. So it's the same thing with being a nation of people. The reason why our people, and I've experienced this over the last 35, 40 years, is that one of the reasons why our people don't want to be free is because of the word responsibility. They don't want the responsibility of feeding themselves, taking care of themselves. They're the ones that got to be in charge of the powers, turn on the lights and things. They got to be the one that takes over the infrastructure, paving the highway, that they actually own the land that they building highways on. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to the buildings and structures and things, this is your responsibility. But slaves don't want that, so that's why you got the coffins and the concentration camps.
Well, we look at what's going on inside the United States. You got whole metropolises that don't have any employment for people. A lot of people have just given up. You know, they don't even go down to the employment office looking for no job. They don't get online to do nothing. A lot of them, because they just working on a job is just out of the question. Not saying that that's what they're supposed to do, but I constantly look at the overall conditions of the country and its people and what's going on. They got people who just specialize in selling drugs. That's it. That's all they do. You know, so they just, you know, there's no creativity, no nothing. We just here. You know, I don't. You know, it's amazing to me how we think that a country can survive when nobody's taking responsibility. When the people are just totally overwhelmed mentally to the point that, you know, there's nothing to do. We can't make a living. We just have to hustle and struggle day in and day out. Prices getting higher and higher, and you know, the thought of taking personal responsibility, growing our own food, and taking care of our own families and supplying our own food and water is not crossing the minds of the people. So the condition is pretty rough, but I would still like to believe that sooner or later people are going to start doing something different. So,
they will.
What do you think?
Yeah, they will. And one of the reasons is because, I'll put it to you this way. There's two things that's going to happen. Remember when I told you a little earlier that the prophet also prophesied that a European going to have to take to some water because he's 3,000 miles from home. Okay. Let's look at the other side of that.
Okay.
You is one of the greater leaders among our people that have access to what they call the social media. You know, you got all kind of websites and other media programs and things, you know, that on the internet or phones or whatever the case may be, and how you can reach out to people. Okay, let's just say what the Tarhaka thing is going to happen when it don't take but one split second for the word to get out that black lives don't matter, that black people do not exist, that your free national name has been held a secret, and this is what it is. It's Moorish American. I mean, it hits every news media, every access that you have, okay, in the same day. And you know how fast news travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, all you got to do is look at now. What do you think is going to happen? And that's what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen when that happens?
Well, I tell you what, if once that really sink in on a national level, I think we'll have a whole lot of people woke up in a well, and it'd be very, very quick. You know, I had a one of the most funny dreams last night. You know what I dreamed, man? I dreamed that those folks had drones. They were sending drones all over the city, and what was funny was the brothers and sisters was getting the drones taking the drones out the air, and rather bubblegum and chewing gum around the propeller. and they were talking about, no, don't use chewing gum, get bubblegum. That'll stop it from spinning. And the drone was, they were trying to fly the drone back, and the drone was crashing. And they kept saying, they got bubblegum around the drone. Oh, man, I said, what is this? It was so funny. But, Chairman.
Yeah, I'm right here.
You know, I remember when they had you remember when right before Bush Jr. went out of office, they done jacked the gas prices up through the roof. As he was going out of office, man, gas prices shot sky high. These brothers around here, they had, you see less people with cars on the street, but the brothers they took them some lawnmower motors and put on them bicycles up and down the road, and they still got them. I was looking at it, you know what? The brother sure know how to adapt when the crunch get the crunches. He sure know how to get. They was all over everywhere with them bicycles, man. With a motor on them. You ever seen one of them?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they still got them. They riding up and down the road on them right now. I said, boy, look here. You know, people are very interesting when it comes to survival. And so I guess you're right. But the prophet did say that the day will come when $20 bills will roll down the streets and nobody will pick them up. And so that means we're talking about an economic collapse of the dollar. And so that means that folks are going to have to do some real ingenuity going on. And they up in Congress now trying to shut down the internet. Shut that down, boy. Woo. It's going to be a mess. But nevertheless, you said it's not going to be a pretty picture with Donald Trump.
Well, you know, you hit one of the magic words when you spoke about the economic disaster. But that's the first thing that's going to happen. If you notice, the United States right now is $34 trillion in debt right now. They owe China some everybody, okay? And whenever you fail financially, that's what takes you out. And you can't support yourself. That's one of the ways. The United States takes its own stuff out, not because of us, okay? One of the problems with our people is that if you notice, when the European want to take over a particular country or tribe or family or whatever the case, they'll go infiltrate that particular area and put weapons in part of it. Then they'll walk away for a while and come back and pick up the results. So the same thing happened with us. They'll come in our communities, our neighborhoods, where the case will be, and they'll put in drugs. I mean, who was the one that brought cocaine and stuff into our community back in the 60s? That was the CIA. That was the United States that did that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's right.
And now what else you going to do? Okay? They can't go out nowhere. They don't know no drug cartels or nothing. So where they getting it from? Same thing when it comes down to guns and things of this nature. You know, where they getting it from? They ain't got. I've never heard of my people owning a gun factory. They don't make guns. So where they getting the guns from? They're all in the community and things. Where they coming from? Just like it is in Africa. The way they colonized Africa was they put in their weapons and things in a certain part and let the Africans start killing Africans. They come in later and pick up the results. So when it comes down to economic disaster, that's the first sign that a country is falling on its part. And another sign is, and I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but another sign is what old folks just call Sodom and Gomorrah. When you see a whole bunch of homosexuality being promoted, that's that country's on its way out. Because two men can't make no babies. Neither can two women, for that matter. Okay? So you find the same sex piling up on that, and all in the government, too? Oh, yeah. That's a sign that the country's on its way out. So do you want that into your new pure and clean nation? I don't think so.
You know, they had had this thing down here voting on which bathroom in the school that you can go in, and they want to say that if they're gay, then they can go to the women's bathroom.
Yeah.
It was a big mess down here, man. Look here. Boy, those people, they had a big old crowd outside. Y'all better not come outside. You know, we don't beat the top of you. So what they did, they said, well, look, whatever you have on your birth certificate, that's what bathroom you go in.
Yeah.
Man, look at him. It was a big old mess down here, man. It was like, I said, Lord, is this for the overthrow of government? What are they doing? I said, where they going? They said, it's about this gay people going in the women's bathroom. I said, oh, Lord. they was up in the building, people out the building. People out the window, look at us. Oh, Lord, we need to change some policy. Man, look at him. They changed that mess. He had them little politicians running around talking about, well, I'm for gay this, I'm for gay that. And then we'll beat the brakes off you. Oh, Lord. Man, look at him, man. It was a big old mess, man. I said, Lord have mercy, they don't run out of stuff to do. Why are they going and messing with that? Why didn't they just leave that alone? You know, you male, you go to the men's room. If you're a woman, you go to the women's room. So you're a confused group who want to go somewhere different. Oh, Lord. Man, I tell you what. I think a lot of times, I think America just done ran out of stuff to do. They had to come up with all kind of other junk just to stay busy doing something. I reckon. We had I was telling Dr. Walter Williams, I had on my show last week, and I got a friend. He travels around the world. He's a merchant seaman, and he went to Africa and found a wife. Now, this woman here, the place where she comes from, it is their custom. They don't, it's like zero crime, and stuff like that. But he brought her over here. And they went out to California just showing her around America. And they had a situation out in California where somebody killed a woman and her children. And that girl was so upset. She said, "What is this?" She told him, he said she couldn't sleep. Say she had never seen anything like that happen before. And where she come from, in our country, we don't have no stuff like this. And she said, "This is what you call it again?" He said, "It's crime." He said, "Well, we don't have crime." I don't know nothing about this. And she said, "I don't like America." And he said he was trying to sleep, and she was waking him up all through the night. Tell her, "You need to stay up." I was like, "I can't sleep with something like this. Suppose something happen over here where we at." He tried to convince her that nothing ain't gonna happen. He said, "I want to get out of here. I want to go back to Africa." But here we are over here in this country, and we have accepted this kind of behavior as if it's normal. But there are places on this earth where this kind of stuff doesn't happen at, and people not accustomed to that. Because he said, "Man, he tickled me. He was telling me, he said, man, look." He said, "Man," he said, "she was actually shaking like a leaf on a log." She said she couldn't sleep, she couldn't rest, she didn't want to eat, she didn't have no appetite. She wanted to know how fast can she get back to Africa. And he was under the impression that she liked it, America, because all the places he was taking her was buying her clothes and dresses and stuff. But she after that, she didn't want but one thing, and that's a ticket out of here back over to Africa. And it's amazing. And I met her. She's a nice girl, but she had never been exposed to this kind of behavior. And I think it behooves us to open our eyes and realize that what's going on inside this country is not normal. It is not normal for this kind of stuff to be going on, for your community to be flooded with drugs. And, if you don't come to a complete stop at a stop sign, you owe me money. If you don't cut on your blinker before you turn, you owe me money. If you run a red light, you owe me money. You ain't injured nobody. There's no injured party. Nobody got killed. Nobody got hurt. But you owe me money. If your tail light is out, you owe me money. If you don't have a tag on the back of your car, you owe me money. And if you park too long in a certain spot, you owe me money. This is not normal. This is not normal, and it's not law. And I don't want to get all down into that, but I just wanted to bring that to the table. Now, Grand Chairman, what's your take on the Vice President? What are you up to?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Mr. There I go again. Mr. Trump. If you notice, he has over, pretty close to over 200,000 people that he's got to put in position. And virtually, by him being a Mason, head of the Illuminati, everyone he's put in position is because they are a Western Freemason. They are diametrically opposed to slaves and women. So the ones that he's selected into office, if you look, he may try a little token every now and then, but the majority, I say 99% of everyone that he's put in certain positions is a pale-skinned male over age 21, sound-minded body. In other words, they're the Western Freemason. His whole cabinet, that's what he wants to talk about Make America Great Again. Okay? When the Masons owned it, ran it, operated it, they was totally ticked off when Obama was voted into office twice. That's how come he couldn't get no help. Okay, anything he put in position with Obamacare, whatever the case may be, he did it virtually on his own. Because he have no support from the Republican Party.
Okay.
So when it comes down to what Donald Trump is doing, he is preparing. He don't know the other part about it. He's preparing his people to get up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Because where else are they going to go when, if you notice, the over the UK, they're pulling away from the European Union. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the part. And when it comes down to they actually own America, the United States, and Canada. These are both corporations belong to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have the prince and the queen and them come over checking out their property, that's what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when so their only way out, the thing about it is, I'm not really concerned with them, to tell you the truth. What I'm more concerned in is how many of us is willing to stand up and take on the responsibility of being free. That's what my concern is at. I'll be 75 this year, and I'm going like, what in the world? Because I feel like a young teenager almost. You know, I'm going like, what in the world does Allah keep me around here for? You know, I already know the answer. You know, I've paid my dues. Why do you keep me around here? But I got to teach. That's my job. I got to teach.
Well, we're working on it. Day after day after day. I start on it at 9 o'clock in the morning all the way up to almost 7 o'clock. Working on them. And trying to teach them and show them which way to go so that they'll be able to be self-sufficient and handle themselves, instead of being afraid. They get something in the mail from a debt collector, or police say, well, we got a warrant for your arrest, and all this stuff right here. I mean, that's not freedom. You to be subject to that kind of treatment and behavior, you get angry, and all kind of stuff go on. So if we
I tell you, host, man, this right here, our people fail to look at the whole picture. For example, number one, we don't have a judicial system. We don't have any courts. We don't own any prisons. But the United States, under Western Freemasonry, has the largest penal correction system. Call it Department of Correction if you want to, federal, state, otherwise, it doesn't matter. They got the largest prison system of any country per capita in the world. And it's all of it is founded upon the West African slave trade, upon slavery. The whole prison system that the United States is because once there is an arrest, don't let it be a conviction and imprisonment. A lot of people get paid per person, per slave. Okay? And when you look at it, if we only making up something like a 13 to 14% of the total population of the United States, but we're making up 75 or 80% of the prison population, there's something wrong with that picture.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, what can slaves say? Who are you going to protest to? Are you going to take it to court? Because that's what a lot of people want. They want. I'll take you downtown and do what? You master, and now you want to go for child support. Master, she done this, master, and take that my baby, master. And next thing you know, you got to pay master some child support.
Mm-hmm.
Or you got to pay for the running the red light. Or just looking at the car wrong. You got to pay for that too.
Mm-hmm. We live in that kind of stuff. There, people don't understand. That kind of stuff is like being in a prison state, a police state. And anytime, because I've had guys call me and tell me, say, man, this guy said he's riding on a bicycle in broad open daylight, and said a cop pulled in front of him and demanded that he show him his identification. He was on a bicycle. And
yeah.
And I said, well, what did he stop you for? I said he stopped me because he wanted to stop me, and demanded that he show him some identification. That's what you call a police state when something like that goes on. When you walking down the street and if you walking into a building or somewhere and somebody just stop you and say, hey, I need to see some ID. That's that ain't right.
What they call it, racial profiling.
Yeah, that's totally totally disrespectful for one man to do another man like that. And it's and then oh man, that's just a mess. But I have heard stuff. One lady, this lady called me, and she was from the island, and she said that they was trying to. They had foreclosed on her home, and the police came out there and drug her out the house. And so they jumped on her, beat her all up, scarred her up, and she said she was screaming and said they were trying to take her car too. It didn't have nothing to do with the foreclosure. And so she began to tell them that she had identification. She wanted to give them identification. And they let her go in the car and get her identification. But what they didn't know was that she had put a lien on her physical body. And when she gave them that, and they saw that, she said they started covering up their badges with their hand and running to the cars, getting in the cars. And I asked her, I said, well, why do you think they did that? She says, I don't know. That's why I call you. I said, because you got a massive lawsuit. They have violated international code. I say you go down there and you take that down there. Go get you some photographs. Go to the hospital. Have them take photographs of your injuries, and then you take that over there and get the best, most expensive, powerful lawyer you can find, and showing the photographs and showing that lien, and watch what happens. He go, I ask you, how many millions do you want? Do you want the jail to stay open or closed? Which one? I say, that's what that means. They didn't know she had did that. And they left the house, forgot about the foreclosure, everything. they were taking stuff out of the house. When they found out about that lease, and they dropped their stuff right in the yard and started running to the car. They were coming out the badges and everything. She had a lien against herself, and that's a bad boy. You get one of them that going on. I took the name Tarhaka Bay and put a patent on it, put a copyright on it, made it public notice. And they go down there and file it downtown, and then I just did that, and made sure I got that and got a record of the fact that it's done. So unauthorized use of that ain't good. But anyway, what else that you have to bring to our attention tonight, Grand Chairman?
Well, the one thing about it is that in our last flight, in fact, we're due to go back in May, but our last flight to the United Nations put us in such an area of recognition that everyone's aware. That's why I was speaking about Donald Trump. He was made aware when he was running for office. I really didn't think, I couldn't see him making office at the time, but everybody said he was going to be there, so, and they were right. But the thing about it is that everyone was aware, or is aware, of who the Moorish Americans are. They know the free national name of all 60 million people. The thing that what's mostly concerned me is because they asked the master the question, where are you? Where are your people? And with all the airways and websites and phone numbers and everything, and information that's available, including the books and everything. Oh, that's another thing too. Since you introduced me to the word unconscionable. I like that. But equally as important, also I need maybe so you or someone in the audience can help me. I need a good firm, law firm that can handle cases that's not particularly confined to the state of Florida, if you will, mainly Alabama. Okay, but
okay,
I got a few $1 million I want to pay off to a law firm that for a little work. I could do it myself, but I can't stop it from running. You know, avoiding changing court, dragging out court dates and things like that. This is what I really need a law firm. Okay, but it's a guaranteed multi-million, almost $1 trillion lawsuit that I can win at this disposal. And I don't even want what they call 33%. I'll give them 50. Okay.
Well, I know just the man that gets you in touch with. What I'll do is I'll call him in the morning. And,
okay. I'll tell you what, you won't have to worry about no money no more. Okay.
Okay. And I get you. I'll tell
you what it's about too. Do you know that the people that I hired to print my book only because I did not have it under patent and copyright of the United States, they assumed that it was not under, and they took my book and they reprinted it and published it and selling it all over I ain't made a dime off my book in about 4 years.
Well, I know. Okay. I see what they be doing. I be I be up on the internet. I be watching.
Amazon been selling for almost $2,000 a copy, and I got a barcode on there that say $49.95. Okay, so it's time to get paid. Okay, it's time to get paid. I want to put a look on your face or Tarhaka's face that the Undertaker can't take off. All right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call him first thing in the morning.
All right then.
This a bad boy here.
Okay.
He walked in the courtroom and he said, "Everybody hands in here clean."
And I tell you something else. Under my authority, dealing with the United Nations and other international things, I can also elevate that whoever the lawyer is or law firm, I can elevate whoever it is to the international level. Okay, where they don't have to be confined to whatever state. I can elevate them to where they can practice law wherever because I make a divine minister out of them. Okay.
Okay. Well, he already international. He be all over the world. They try to. Sometimes he say he go to certain countries and they don't want him to leave.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's what I need. Come on up in here so he can be rich forever. Okay.
All right. I'll call him in the morning.
Okay. Good.
What's your take on this this thing about the building this wall in between the United States and Mexico? What's that about, man?
Well, that's
I don't think I see a sensationalism.
Okay. That's up the rump thing. He was politically running for office and things, And let's just say that the wall gets built. Do you know what's going to take place? There's a river that runs the whole course, and the whole river will be on the Mexican side of the border. They don't want that. And not only that, but see, what the truth of the matter is that when they took over the what is now known as the United States, that's when they began to setting up border lines and borders and things of this. But the Mexicans always did live there. They was always they've been there. We put them there with the built pyramids. Okay, so it's really not a problem. So But he's talking about building. He need to be building some bridges rather than building walls. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Only how you gonna build walls when they spent the whole time over there tearing down the darn wall? That ought to let you know about the walls ain't where it's at. Penitentiaries and prisons got walls. What do you think that's for? So you can take advantage of those on the inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
like I said, it's up in the rump, okay?
Well, I tell you what, he's saying now. He came out with this. We're gonna get rid of Obama, and they said we ain't getting rid of nothing. So he said, well, I ain't wasting more time with it. We're going to concentrate on something else. But it seems to me...
Well, how the hell they going to get rid of Obamacare and then turn around and want to call it Trump care?
Well, that's what they said on the news.
Yeah, you got an issue.
That's what this guy said on the news. This white guy, he said, it seems to me that the only thing they doing is moving stuff around in Obamacare and switching it around and then putting his name on it. Trump care.
Yeah. There you go. So they're used to taking things from people that can't claim it. You can take anything from property.
Okay. Well, I see he appears to me to be running out of stuff to do, and every once in a while, I may look at the news, and I didn't get a chance to look at it today, but I did get a phone call and told me we're supposed to have some bad weather down here, and it ain't got here yet. But the other night, I think it was the night before last, man, it was rough. I said, well, I guess we're going to have another hurricane with this kind of stuff going on. And so far it's so good. It's nice and calm out there. But ain't no telling what might go on. But what is interesting to me is he's talking about, and I know it was a bunch of stuff, because he say, well, we're gonna build a wall and we're gonna make Mexico pay for it. I said, now here he comes. They were in the White House meddling with people about a bunch of junk. And the Mexican president of Mexico got in and said, we ain't paying for a jack. We don't know what he's talking about. But as far as the presidency of the United States is concerned, a lady named Mary Cross, she stated the following. She says, we're the only country in the history of the world that has an election for the president of a company. Then nobody else don't do that but us. They say we don't. What's interesting is we never hold a national election when they elect a president of Walmart. So what is he doing with the United States Corporation? Five Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and now they are in corporation status, but they elected presidents of a company, which fits Donald Trump just fine because he's a businessman. He used to running companies, so he dead on. But what people are not realizing is this. There are 8 years for the Democrats. After the 8 years of the Democrats in office, then it's 8 years for the Republicans. After 8 years for the Republicans, then it's 8 years for the Democrats again. So what I be looking at, I say, okay, Obama, he been in office for 8 years. Now it's time for the Republicans. And we got all these people running around. I'm voting for Hillary. She's a Democrat. I'm voting for They keep running the same game over and over and over, and we still ain't caught on yet. We still run around to the polls We out there with the rally, waving the flag, and standing out in the cold in the cold and rain with our children talking about we voting. And this has been going on over and over and over again. All you gotta do is go back and look at the record. When you look at the record, just look at the record, and you see what happened. Even when Kennedy was in office, they killed Kennedy. What happened? Lyndon Johnson got in there. Then out of that, then Nixon came. Democrats, Republicans. Democrats, Republicans. Each one of them got 8 years apiece. And we started voting, thinking that we changing something. We want the Democrats to stay in there for 16 years instead of 8. What do you think about that, man?
Well, I tell you, I was thinking about, started maybe about 2 months ago or so, around the first of the year. I'm sending out an invitation to all the different groups, Moorish Science Temple especially, but Washita and the Wahabians, that if you can find a better way, and this is like a world, I got it in my book, I have a worldwide challenge, but I'm also doing it now on through all the media sources that I have access to. I'm offering a worldwide challenge. If you can prove a better way, either way or another way, whether our people can be free as a nation, as a government, I want you to bring it. Otherwise than that, I'm offering an open invitation to come and join the Moorish American government so that we can save our people away from this disaster that's inevitable. Okay?
Okay. Well,
and with that in mind, I just want to, hand out my the website, phone number, free to go. Okay?
Okay. Well, we got that right over there at my website. In fact, I put it in the chat room. www.moorishamericangovernment.land.
Yep, that's it. Because every nation got a land. Every government got its own land. So it's moorishamericangovernment.land, not .org, not .com, not .net, but .land.
Got it. And right over there on my website, you got your link. I got your links there, and all they got to do is click on that. And once they get over there to your website, they can run their mouse right across the middle of the page where it says "Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice." And a little drop-down menu come down, and you can click on the registration page and register right there with your government. Down at the bottom of the page, you have the conference call number, and you have the access code. You want to give us that conference call number and access code now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, the conference call number itself is 712-770-4733. Again, that's 712-770-4733. Now, hold on to that 33 for a second, because the playback number is the same exact number, except instead of saying 33 with the last two numbers, change that to 89.
89.
So it will.
Okay.
Yeah, the playback number would be 712-770-4789. Now, the master access code number for either way, your playback or your dial-in, is 639-381. That's 639-381. Hit the pound sign and you're in. 7 days a week. 7 o'clock East Coast time, 7 p.m. East Coast time.
Okay, playback would be 4789.
Yep. And
okay.
The access code is, either way, it's 639-381. And also, when you go to the website, you also can look up Seven Seals publication for those who want medallions or lapel pins or flags. And we have our. Oh man, that's another thing too. We have the Moorish American flag, our own flag that Noble Drew Ali brought himself. Okay, yeah, we got it all. Moorish American flag, the Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem. You go to the 7 Seals publication and get it all, including the prophets' royalties and compounds.
Okay. Well, I got it right here in the chat room. I'm putting that in there too. All right. 7sealspublications.com. We got it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're down in the last hour. You want to? You have anything else you want us lay on us? While we got a full switchboard here. Everybody's listening.
Well, I'm just proud of the way that you're doing things, because you've been out here in the media trying to help our people for quite a while, through your blog talk radio and everything. We're just proud of you, Tarhaka. I really am, man, because I know trying to help our people ain't easy. And so you got to be persistent. You got to have a lot of love to do it. Because if you don't love it, you can't keep it up. You can't stay there with it. Because like the prophet, they're hard-headed, they're stiff-necked, and they're stubborn. So you got to have enough love for them to overlook that and stay right there with them. That's why I put the challenge out there. If you got something better than this right here to save our people, bring it. I want to see it. Bring it. Come on with it.
I hear you.
So, we're here in any kind of way. I'm ready for questions and answers. The only thing I say about that, about asking me questions, just don't ask me a question if you ain't ready for the answer. That's all I say. Because I'm by nature, I got to tell you the truth.
Okay. Well, the number for them to dial in is 310-982-4184. If you got a question or comment for our guest, press 1 on your phone. That'll give me an indication that you got something to say. I'll open up the phone lines and let you in. Now, these are disposable coffins. This stuff is real, and you can go right there online, right there on the internet, actually, and just type it in and see. And what these people are doing is they are renovating old prison compounds and getting this stuff set. And because eventually we're going to have an economic collapse. Every time they have ever tried to, everybody that's ever tried to get away from the dollar was assassinated. They, what's his name, Saddam Hussein, he said, well, he going to get rid of the petrodollar thing and start detaching the American dollar from the oil and allowing other countries, and they're accepting other countries' currency. So they assassinated him. Then we had Muammar Gaddafi. He said, well, I'm going to separate from the dollar, and we're going to create a dinero, and we won't have to use the American dollar no more. And that'll change economics in Africa. So they assassinated him. And everybody that tries to get away from that thing, the international is a threat to the international bankers. So they have to keep that dollar there. But my friend, he travels all over the world. He said there's certain places in other countries where they won't even accept the American dollar. And if you insist on trying to pass it in there, they'll have you arrested. There's countries that don't even accept it. But a lot of people don't know that. And there's a lot of things that's going on in other parts of the world that we don't know about. We got whole metropolises and cities that make New York and California look sick, and Florida. Magnificent metropolises. But they never talk about that. They talk about the ski resorts, different ski resorts and stuff, but they don't tell you about the main resort. There's a mountain in Africa, and that's the number one spot right there for the rich and super rich. They go over there and enjoy the skiing and stuff. They keep it out of the media, and there's a whole lot of stuff that we simply don't know because it's not being broadcast to us, and we are led to believe that where we are and what we have going on is to die all and to be number one and to be all, but it ain't. And I'm here to tell you, it's not. It's not so. And if you look hard enough on the internet, you might be able to find some of these places in other countries that you didn't know existed. Some of these metropolises, and the technology and the way the people are living is totally covered up. We don't know nothing about it. There's all kind of stuff going on. But it's important for us to do the investigation so that we can know these things and know there are alternatives to the so-called lifestyle that we're supposed to be enjoying here in this country. And the people are not as free as they think they are. And they have to really, really pay attention. Well, Grand Chairman, we're going down to the close, and I'm about ready to shut it down. So you want to give us any last words?
Oh no, just honored just to be here with you and the staff, and any questions that you may have, I'm here for you. Anytime you want to call on me, I'm here for you. And we're looking forward to having closure in May at the United Nations. And before then, the whole world gonna know who we are. So, like I said, see the other flip side of that same coin is that where the word is going to be out is to that are free us, but at the same time, it's a whole lot of people that's going to get very upset because they know they've been had for about 500 years, and they're going to be upset, and some are going to be out of control. And that's not going to be a pretty picture.
I'm definitely going to be looking forward to May, and what I'm going to do is I will be calling you tomorrow. I'm going to get a chance to get in touch with my friend and run it by him and see if we can get you hooked up over there.
Okay, my friend.
All right. Well, we come to the close of the broadcast. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because they beat me up today. I'm tired. I got to give me some rest. And I will be calling you tomorrow. But anyway,
I look forward to it. I'll be right here.
Yeah, all right. Well, you take care.
Peace and blessings. We love you, Morris. Peace.
Peace to all. Okay. That's going to conclude it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We certainly appreciate you all being here. And you all stay tuned for more information that will be coming to us from the Moorish American government. He will be coming back and being our guest again. And I just want to say you all have a good night.
You've been listening to Moorish Talk Live 100 with Tarhaka Amana El Bey. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Peace.